So,
Yeah.
so now you get to the depth, and now we can talk about your friend and mine, number 0, Marcus.
Yeah. Well, that's, I just, listen, I've said it 1,000 times, and I've given different dates apparently every time, but there's no question in my mind that he's gone. And today, I'm not only, I'm willing to bet my next commission that the Yankees will trade him.
So you're not doing any sales? Is that what you're saying?
Things are bad. Business is bad. I'm so certain that this is going because that he wouldn't do this. The Yankees, first of all, this is exactly what the Yankees hate. This kind of bullshit when he showcases when they sort of showboating something here. This is his way of saying fuck you. Sorry, oops, family run.
Beep. The 7-second delay was late.
This is his way of flipping the Yankees off, and they don't like that, and they're going to do everything they can. My problem with it is now they'll do it, and they might not get such a great deal, but I'm sure they're waiting for that first injured pitcher on the probably somebody like the Tigers. Somebody's going to get hurt in Texas. And he's suddenly there's going to be interest, and the Yankees will get something. They'll get like a lousy, low-level minor leaguer with some money, and they'll get it. But my only fear is, God forbid, one of these guys gets hurt. And
one of the Yankee guys gets hurt.
Yankee guys. And then suddenly he's in the picture. I just don't want him around. $16 million for this guy is a lot of money. They don't need to pay it. Or 18, is it 18 million? 18 million for a sixth starter, not necessary. And then I thought the game that he played by not showing up, of course he has the right not to show up, but all the other guys have the same right. Why are they there? Why is Fried there? He's a new guy. Why is their best starter, who probably has the most authority to do what he wants, Cole, he shows up on time. What's that about?
It's not on time. It's not on time. Like I said, he doesn't have to be there till February 22nd.
By contract, but that's not what it's about. They're all there already. Why is he not there yet?
He took his physical and left. I actually, if I was, put it this way, if I was getting screwed by the team, or I felt like I was getting screwed, which I do believe that's how Mr. Stroman feels.
Yeah.
Right. Why should I do anything more than I absolutely positively have to? By the way, he makes 18 million this year, not 16. 18 million this year, and then he's got
a lot of money.
140 inning vesting situation.
Doesn't make me feel better. That's more money, and I would say get rid of it, move him on, forget it.
Well, they've been trying to do that, and they can't. It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense. They've been trying, and there's no takers. I mean, like I said, I've been listening to lots of MLB radio, and to listen to Ryan Spielborgs or Spolborgs, whatever his name is, to keep over and over saying Arenado has to come to the Yankees. It's a perfect fit, and they could just trade Stroman for him, even up, and it's good for both teams. I'm thinking to myself, well, first of all, both teams are looking to cut salary. So trading for two players who make about the same amount of money doesn't cut salary. In fact, Stroman makes more than Arenado. Well, not this year. Stroman makes 18 and Arenado makes 21 this year, 15 next year or the year after for Arenado. And Arenado in New York, other than his defense, is not a good fit. And running up Goldschmidt and Arenado, how did that work for St. Louis last year? It didn't. And Stroman, if they're trying to cut back salary, I mean, they're looking at getting rid of, isn't Sonny Gray their number one starter now? They're looking to cut back salary. And said, well, why would they take on potentially $36 million on Stroman? Because if you look at Stroman's stats, he throws 140 innings every season. He does not throw it. He threw 136, I guess, and 38 with the Cubs. But you know what? He could have thrown 140 with them. He threw 154 with the Yankees, 179 with the Mets, 184 with the Mets. He's going to vest. I mean, I don't see how he's not going to vest. And if you look at his stats, right? Yes, they were slightly down from 23 to 24, but they weren't outrageously down from 23 to 24. His ground ball to fly ball rate was down, and that's not good for a righty pitcher in Yankee Stadium, and that's something to be concerned about. But you know what? his ERA was up from 3.9 to 4.3. His batting average against was up from 231 to 277. So did he pitch in bad luck? That's above the major league average of batting average for balls in play. He's batting average for balls in play with Stroman in 24 was actually 312, which is significantly higher than the major league average. Yeah. People slugged higher against him. He allowed more home runs, almost a half a home run more per 9. His hits were up 2 hits per 9 innings. His strikeouts were down slightly. His stats are what his stats are. He's a number 4, number 5 starter. Yes, 18 million or 18.5 in that neighborhood is a little much for it. But you know what? He's the only depth they have that has major league experience that wasn't totally pathetic last year. But you know what? They're going to have to eat 8 to 10 million. What are you doing, big guy?
Sorry, I got.
They're going to have to eat $8 to $10 million and trade him away just to get their salaries down where they want them to be. But he's their only major league depth that they have. The other depth that they have, we could talk about Will Warren. He was horrendous in his opportunity in 2024, even though we had high hopes. And then I looked at his AAA stats. They weren't that fantastic either. In AAA last year, he threw 109 innings and had an ERA over 5. His K percentage, meaning the number of strikes he throws, was only 62%. His strikeouts per 9 was very high, but it was low compared to what it was in previous seasons. His strikeouts per 9 was 11.16 in 24, and it was 14 in 23. So, he's nothing special in the minors. And, I had high hopes for him, but I was wrong. And I don't think we should have high hopes for him this year either. And guess what? He has 2 options. What do you think of Warren as a potential 6th starter, 7th starter?
Well, I think that a lot of these guys have to show a lot more down in the minors. That last year was a terrible year. Their minor league system really suffered. Their perception in the league, they're bottom of the barrel right now. They've got very little talent at the upper level that anybody's really loving. They've got some young guys down low that they seem to like. They seem to like this guy Lombardo.
Well, he's an infielder, though. He's not a pitcher.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that they seem to have. I'm saying
as well.
I'm saying globally, their farm system is in serious.
It stinks.
So they really, but then again, it could also be a good. It could be a good year. There were a lot of injuries and a lot of regression last year. So the hope is that they'll look better. But I think Warren falls into that category. A guy who had a lot of expectations coming out of last year, last year's off season, because they thought they liked him. Some people liked him more than the guy they lost to.
The guy that ended up getting traded for Dylan Cease.
Yeah. Everyone seemed to like him a lot, but they liked Warren. I think the Yankees said, you know what, we got the better deal here. We got the guy we liked who stayed. Problem is, he
was just
really
mediocre. He was just me. I'm very disappointed in myself for thinking so highly of him based on his minor league stats. Then the other guy that they're talking about is who I think is more of a bullpen piece because of the way he pitches. If he ever pitches, is Clayton Beater. He's got
another injury. He's hurt again, right? Isn't he hurt?
No, he's not hurt yet.
They said that he's coming off of an injury. Seems okay.
He had 39 innings.
Crazy.
He had 39 innings between the majors and the minors last year, which was really only a couple innings in the majors. 39 innings, 56 strikeouts, 21 walks. That's horrendous. He has a monster arm and monster injury history. Yeah. But, if he ever doesn't have an injury history, which is why I think he's better off going to the bullpen. Let him go into the bullpen. Then the guy that, we both were like, why'd they sign this guy? And then you look at his stats, and you're like, oh, JT Brubaker, right? He has no options. So he's on the team this year, no matter what happens, assuming he's not injured. But he threw 124 innings in 21, 144 innings in 22, and then nothing for all of 23, and only 16 innings in 24 in the minors. Yeah. And in his 16 innings, he only struck out 9 guys and walked 8, which is not good. But he only allowed 8 hits. So he's got swinging stuff, but he's also 31. He's not young. So he's going to be on the team. So he looks like he's going to be the swing man and the pitching depth for sure for the starters. Um, could he be good? Like, if you look at the videos, he has great stuff. He was on the Pirates. He was on the Pirates with Cole way back when. So maybe the Yankees can, do with him what they did with Holmes and make him a better pitcher.
Hmm.
But hopefully he doesn't. He's still such an injury risk. Another guy with no options, and we saw him a little bit last year, is Yoendris Gomez. He actually did okay with the Yankees. He only threw 83 innings in 23 appearances, 21 of which was starts.
Hmm.
But he generally is a 4 or 5 inning pitcher. In 24, between the majors and the minors, he had 93 strikeouts. So that's, he's a strikeout guy, but he also walks a lot of guys, 39. So if his walks per nine is 4 and his strikeouts per nine is 10, that's a 2.5 to 1 ratio. But that's a scary proposition. And he has no options. So he's definitely on the team. He's on the team or he's going to be traded or DFA'd.
Yeah. But, some of these guys have to go.
Yeah, you have to either go or get off the pot. Of course, then there's Carlos Carrasco, non-roster invitee.
Oh, does that have any chance of making it?
If he pitches for the team this year, they are in a boatload of trouble. I mean, he was so awful last year. I mean, I can't even describe how awful he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was just god awful. He had over a 5 ERA, didn't make it through the season. He's got injury history. He's got so many problems. I don't want to see him on the team this year. If he's on the team, they've got a lot of problems. Then
I
there's
don't
there's a
agree.
couple of guys who are not on the 40-man roster. You got Chase Hampton, another minor leaguer, pitched 40 innings. Pitched not on the 40-man, pitched 125 innings at Double-A last year. Struck out a lot of guys, had a low WHIP, 27 starts. Cade Smith, not the one from the Guardians. He's 23. Chase Hampton's 24. Zach Messenger is 26 in October, so he's 25 now. He played at Double-A last year. He's not a big strikeout guy, and he's a right-handed pitcher. He's not on the 40-man. They have this guy Tristan Vierling, another Double-A right-hander. He's 24. He's okay, but there's nothing to write home about. There's this guy Cam Schlittler, if I'm pronouncing it correctly and don't get bleeped out. He seems to be pitched at 3 levels last year, all the way up to Double-A. Triple-A in one season. Averaged 11.5 strikeouts per nine. Again, another walk guy, 4 walks per nine. But his ground ball rate's 51%, and in 120 innings, only allowed 98 hits. This guy's got potential, 24-year-old. They got Ben Shields, not Panty Shields. He's 26 in January. He also pitched at 3 levels for the Yankees last year. 17 starts. He's got a good strikeout to walk ratio, 11 strikeouts to 2.8 walks. He's a potential guy that's not on the 40-man that maybe they'll make room for. And then their lefty prospect is a guy named Brock Selvidge. He'll turn 23 in August, and he had 16 starts at Double-A last year. So there's not much as far as major league depth there. They're top 5 starters or top 3 or 4 starting rotations in all of baseball, but there's a lot of injury risk. I mean, there's not much depth there. And then of course Kramer likes our friend Brent Hedrick, who they just signed. He's 27, and he was a starter in the minors, and he's a left-hander. So there's not really a lot of starting depth there for the Yankees. There's good top of the rotation, and if the 5 guys stay healthy, they're going to be great. But when's the last time any team in baseball used 5 starters for an entire season without somebody going on the IL? Right? It just doesn't happen. You got anything you want to add on the starters?
Well, I'm not worried so much about their starters. I just think there's always somebody that's going to step up from the minors. I just see one of these guys. I know it sounds wishful thinking.
Heel was the guy last year. Heel stepped up last year.
They find a way. But my bigger concern is they won't find somebody, and then they'll be forced to have they'll go to the trade. I don't want them to go to the trade market. I don't want them to need a pitcher in in at the deadline. I want them to use whatever assets they have. God forbid, whatever assets they have, whatever they may be. I want to get them. I want to hit her. I want to get Tucker. I'd like to see somebody of that ilk join them uh, when they need somebody to come in late in the season. But I'm hoping that they're going to be hoping. It's useless, but it would be nice to see them get a full load of five. Um, if they're really concerned, they're going to keep Stroman, and I'm going to lose my commission. Um, that's it. It's all going to be about that. So let's hope they're healthy, and then see what happens with some of these other guys that come in. I think there will be an emergence of a good fifth starter in case of an injury. Somebody from the minors that'll come up, and I could see it being somebody like it could be Will, it could be Warren, maybe Will Warren,
I think
Adam
it's more
Warren.
likely to be Brubaker than anybody.
It could be Brubaker, and they're keeping him for a reason. They like this
Well, they
guy's
have no
arm.
choice. I mean, he's 31
Yeah,
years
well,
old. It's not like he's
that's
young.
it.